always see him doing something that prepares for 60 to 70% of your opponent's build very well. Like, he will get a decisive advantage, but for the other 30, 40%, he actually gets a pretty bad loss, a pretty big disadvantage there. So I feel like Strelok is a little bit too gimmicky in that fashion. His builds are not complete. They're not completely, I guess, comprehensive. And against a player like Alicia that should know all the different deviations, Alicia should be the heavy favorite here. And that's why I picked Alicia to win this match.
I agree. So, guys, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Starting off in the bottom left corner, we have from Team FXO, it is Strelok, the ambitious Terran. In the top right, we have from Team No Team, we have Alicia, who was recently released from Slayers. Now currently exploring other foreign options, seeing if you can get on those teams or organizations that way. Guys, of course, if you're just tuning in, we just already saw a series between BCQD and Lowly, and you got this is only the second of all 4 series that we're having today. That's right, no reschedules or postponed games or walkovers. We do want to also help the people who are watching the stream and not necessarily watching other streams, because we do know MLG Dallas is going on, as Machine, JYP, QXC, Gosu User, Jukto, they're all advancing pretty straightforward in the winner's bracket. No major upsets thus far, so if you're following your favorite players, don't worry, they're all sitting really nice. Ret also advancing as well.
Ooh.
Just a quick update on MLG. I want one of those tickers, Andre, be like, dun 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 dun, and we see Ben in the bottom right corner, like telling us, all right, over here in the North American update, we have MLG Dallas is giving us like live reports.
That'd be so cool.
And then like whoever he's casting with, if he's casting with Apollo, Apollo's like, dude, Mr. Bitter, we're casting the game, man. Get back to me. He's like, okay, back to you guys at the desk. That'd be really funny.
Ben could do it.
Yeah, knowing Ben, he'd get away with it too.
I know.
Look at this from Strelok. He's gonna go for a very, very, very quick command center, but he's also, I feel like when you do this kind of build from Strelok, you can't trust what you see, because he's also going to go for double gas right afterwards, I feel like.
That's so risky. He's doing this before the second supply depot, which is important to know. And he's eBay blocking. Oh my god.
Oh wow,
so
he is eBay blocking.
I like the eBay block. It's to punish no zealot openings. TT1 actually has a nice interpretation of actually defending against this. He sends 2 probes to make sure this engineering bay really can't rack up a lot of
health.
A lot of health, yes.
You just harass that SCV out.
Correct. So you are absolutely right. 2 refineries. He actually got the second refinery before the depot, so you can see he is supply capped right now.
Oh, look at this from Alicia. He's also proxying a pylon early on and adding a Twilight Council. Oh my.
Link?
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of gas pulled up, so he looks like he will save up for Blink and fake an expansion.
Wow. This is really bad for Strelok. Alicia's doing the perfect build that is going to counter this. This build is super, super vulnerable around 6 minutes to 9 minutes.
Maybe he's just going to go for DTs instead and expand. Yeah, looks like that's what he's going to do. Okay. That's a lot more reasonable, I feel like. Because Blink is a little bit tough to pull off on Daybreak, don't you feel like, compared to other maps?
Oh, yeah. But if he did his homework, this would be a perfect build against Strelok.
Oh, yeah. Because he would go for a Banshee right afterwards, or something like that, the likelihood of which.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Now, here's the thing. Strelok is going to get in here with an SCV. And he might actually see this Dark Shrine, which would be terrible. Obviously, Strelok, all he needs to do is throw down an engineering bay, and he's fine. He hasn't done that yet. He still hasn't done it yet. So.
Ooh, he sees it. He knows. Yep. Now he knows. All right. So now that Strelok knows, he can just build a Raven instead of a Banshee instead and be completely safe. And that's actually no. He's just gonna go for an engineering bay and just continue his Hellion production, drop Hellions, and harass Alicia a lot. Now the thing with Alicia is he doesn't have a lot of units. He spent so much on tech. In fact, he's getting a Robo. Wow. Greediness of all greed.
Yeah, because the Dark Templars, what they say is, don't go out on the map. Unfortunately, you're dealing with Strelok, who says, I meet that challenge, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and try to play on tilt as much as possible. He's on that razor thin edge of, you know, he can die, but he can also do a ton of damage. And we're going to see if that's going to pay off here. The Stalker is going to get in. Now, he could potentially take... Oh, no, he's going to walk past this turret. Nice. And he will be able to get into the economic line and do some damage, at least pulling off the SCV. So really, really nicely done.
The Marines can't really... Oh, well, he has to be very cautious. The detection range on the missile turret is much farther than the way you can attack. Does manage to force a scan. Ooh, almost, man. Almost able to escape it. I still feel like Strelok, with that knowledge, though, of minimizing DTs, he's still not in a bad position because he got his command center way earlier. So I would say Strelok's slightly ahead.
He's... Yeah, you're right.
Just slightly, though.
Yeah,
it's like so slight.
I agree. It's just the fact that he was able to deal with DTs. You can't really punish a player for going Dark Templars, by the way. At least in my games, I haven't been able to. I've done a lot of really, really like heavy builds that focus on getting as many units out in the field. But the power of Dark Templars is not only the scan, but the fact that if you retain them, you can easily merge them into Archons.
Yeah, and the Archons do massive damage early
Against Bio, it's like silly. And normally when you are... Ooh! Banshee!
Nice pick off.
Picked off.
Sentry and a probe for Banshee, not worth it, but...
The Hellions are going to run in here, and they might be able to do a little bit of damage. You can see a nice pull. A couple of probes will be killed here. There's no continuation at the natural, which is normal. Normally you have like a couple of Hellions going into the natural while this happens, but Strelok was not able to have enough units for that. And it looks like Alicia does pick up a small little win over there. Income tab showing 45 to 42 workers, so very similar. Although Strelok has that mule advantage.
Overall, very well done by Alicia. Now I feel like because the Cloak Banshee hasn't done much, I would say the game is evened out relatively well. Although Strelok did manage to kill off several workers, Alicia is pretty much stabilized a lot, and now it's just going to resume 2-base coming versus 2-base. Now, from this position, Andre, do you like the tech choice that Alicia is going from here? He's going for a quick Colossus instead of following up on Twilight and going for upgrade.
I love it. I think it's a really good choice. It's because when you actually switch over to Bio, you have to know your opponent is going to Bio. But when you know they're switching over to Bio instead of something like Marine Tank, instead of purchasing like one upgrade, which is Siege Mode, or even two upgrades, which is Combat Shields, and then pressuring, you have to purchase Stim, Combat Shields, +1/+1, and Concussive Shell. All of that on top of that, you have to get Medivacs out, and then you get Vikings. That's a lot of gas to be investing in that you really don't have the capabilities of getting. So I feel like this is a much stronger choice to go Colossus and then eventually tech over. If it was something like Marine Tank, then I think High Templars would have been a much better choice just because the feedback and the Archons are just a lot more effective in those situations. But how as it stands, I love the Colossus choice. They're going to be empowered like crazy. And as long as, you know, Alicia doesn't overstep his boundaries, he only has one Colossus, so it's still pretty dangerous for him. But when he gets 2, 3 Colossus and a lot of gateway units behind that, I feel like Strelok is going to have an immeasurable amount of troubles.
Yeah,
I worded that really weird.
No, I understand what you're saying, and you're gonna have to deal with no Vikings really from Strelok. This is gonna be very strong. I mean, Strelok doesn't have any Vikings in production. He's now starting 2 more Vikings after 4 Medivacs came out. And that's going to give him a lot of healing potential, but what does he really have to answer this? He's got 1 Banshee. That's nothing.
Yeah, there's going to be a big SCV pull, but what should happen is Force Field right here. And no SCVs,
oh,
so he's just going to trap all the units in.
The Force Fields aren't actually that great for Alicia. He kind of jumbled them a little bit too close together. Colossus is very vulnerable. I think Strelok actually held this very nicely.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Really well done. Wow. And both Colossus will be taken out. Now, I want to see what the damage is done so far. But there's another Colossus. That's why it's really, really tough to only do 2+. I think 3 is the perfect number. If you're doing a very fast attack, that's when you're able to like basically one-shot everything. And as long as you're microing your Colossus very well, there's nothing you really have to worry about. Income tab, let's go ahead and check it out. 47 to 49. Workers killed, not that much, but still. That Viking count is going to grow, and Strelok might be able to fend this off pretty nicely. It's all going to come down to micro.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way, and I think the micro here from Strelok doesn't really have to be too significant as long as he can use the Vikings as zone off the Colossus. Stalker is kind of taking a lot of damage. Zealot's not really doing anything as well. Alicia is throwing away a lot of his units away, and I feel like Strelok's been able to stabilize relatively well without losing too many SCVs. That's always a one big concern as a Terran player. If you're holding this, do you lose a lot of SCVs in the process repairing the bunker and holding it? Strelok's still at a pretty good count, and Alicia doesn't exactly have the best economy either.
Yeah, Strelok held that off very nicely. I have to say, his micro in that last battle was impeccable. And I do have to say Alicia kind of mismanaged that slightly, but still I think the trade overall is good. Now going ahead, taking the third base. Strelok is going to think about taking his own third base. But at this point, let me go ahead and look at everything. Oh, no, he has his third command center already, so that's awesome. I would say Strelok is definitely ahead here. There is a tech problem that we're going to be witnessing pretty soon. As you can see, only being on 4 gas is pretty troublesome. There is a possibility for Alicia to still threaten Colossus damage while at the same time teching. And you can see he's going to Templar Archives at this point. But if he, again, he just has to micro it right, and he will be able to fend this off. But Strelok definitely has like the initiative going into this, and Alicia is not really investing too much into the Colossus, which is a big problem. He needed to do that in order to actually defend against this.
He's not going to defend against this. He's going to have to give it the third.
He has to give it up.
He has to give it up.
Might even lose the Colossus.
He is going to lose the Colossus at this rate because Alicia not in position. The last volleys will pick it off. And this third base is free for the pick. And Strelok playing very well.
Yeah.
And he's now pulling back. Excellent choice.
And look, taking this fourth base as well. That's so intelligent. Really exercising his advantage pretty well here. There's the big stim, and +2 armor isn't finished. That's a lot of Marines to be going into a Gateway army. Not looking good for Alicia. Strelok gonna take game number 1. Unbelievable. Alicia has no chance whatsoever. +2 just about to finish, 10 seconds away. And, you know, that is the deciding attack right there. Really unfortunate for Alicia. I thought he was in a decent position, but apparently not. Strelok was just super far ahead from that defense.
Yeah, more Zoes being warped in. GG called. Strelok takes game number 1. Wow, very well done by the ambitious Terran.
Yeah, the difference between 2 Colossus and 3 Colossus is so much, Frodan. You need all that AoE. And not only that, he attacked in the worst possible position. He actually centered out and then allowed Strelok to have this huge concave. You actually want to be hugging the side, similar to how you place pylons. You place pylons right on the side, you try to hug it so that there's not a lot of surface area, and then you attack based on that. I don't know why Alicia just decided to go straight into the front, and then it was like, oh, Strelok was like, thank you, and he just made a huge cup around his whole army and just crippled it.
Yeah, it's a little tough for Alicia, especially when you're playing with that little amount of units, but well, hopefully he can turn around for this series, as it's very important for him to secure that playoff spot, as Violet pretty much has this division on lockdown, but a second place spot almost can guarantee your spot in the playoffs. That game was brought to you by Squarespace. Go to nhl.tv/p/squarespace for everything you need to create a website, blog, resume, and more. Use the link at the bottom while we take a break and get ready for game number 2 between Alicia and Strelok.